Hi. Thanks so much for stopping by and for hanging out with me today. If you're new here, thanks for clicking on my video and coming and hanging out with a random stranger. I appreciate it. I hope this video is interesting and helpful for you. I've been going through my makeup and trying to curate it, get it organized, get it cleaned up a little bit. I haven't been the most, organized with my makeup, and it has been kind of a stressor for me, where makeup is usually one of those things that I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do some art in my face, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna have fun. You know there's a problem when you come to your makeup table or wherever you do makeup and you're like, I don't want to do it, it's just too much, no. So I've been working on fixing that. I started with a 3-part series showing you my entire face product collection, going from bronzers and contour products to blushes and highlighters. So I have that playlist. Go check that out. It's in the description box below, or you can click on the little card that's up here somewhere. In this video, I'm going to show you how I depot chunky, bulky packaging like this and condense it so it's easier to get to the products and so on and so forth. And I'm also going to talk through some of the other changes I've made to my makeup system. So if that sounds interesting to you, stay tuned. By the way, if you are new here, welcome. My name is Em, and you're watching Makeupry. Please be sure to click that subscribe button if you like what you see today and you want to come back and hang out again in the future. I would greatly appreciate it because I'm trying to hit a goal this year of reaching 1,000 subscribers. Not sure if that'll happen, but if you click that subscribe button, you're bringing me one person closer to my goal, and I would very much appreciate it. I can't talk. Alright, let's get into it. So I'm going to walk you through how I'm going to depot a couple of my chunky packages, boxes, I don't know. This was a gift set that I got from Soap and Glory. I already started tearing this thing apart and forgot, oh yeah, I'm supposed to film this, so it looks kind of like right now. But these are 4 products that I have just sitting in this giant package here that I need to depan and put away. And then I also have this giant Paris Hilton set here with powders that, by the way, this is the worst packaging ever. I can get rid of the box, no problem, and take out the insert, but then there's no cover, there's nothing for this, and it's just the worst packaging ever. Am I right? Honestly, between these 2 boxes, those products can easily live in a small Z palette like this. And then I've got a bunch of other products that I took out of my blush and bronzer and contour and highlighting products, and I want to condense them and put them into a Z palette as well so I can easily access them. So I'll go through that next, and then I'll follow up and show you my organizational system, and maybe even talk about some of the products I've gotten rid of that I didn't make the cut or just didn't do a video on. So alright, stay tuned. Alrighty, so I already tore the packaging apart because I figured I was gonna have to break in and maybe lift the product out from underneath, but then I pulled out this little handy spatula, and then I realized, oh, I made this way more complicated than it needs to be. All I have to do is just take my little spatula and kind of pry this out. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my spatula, lifting this up, and kind of shimmying it, sliding it around the base so that I have a way to pry this out, and there we go. Alright, so then I'll take a little cotton pad of sorts and spritz it down with some rubbing alcohol, and then I'm going to turn this around and just clean this up a little bit. It's possible that this cardboard stuff won't come off because it's glued on, so you just have to kind of work at it a little bit. And rubbing alcohol is a great solvent to get some of these little tacky glues off. See, look at that. That's kind of gross, isn't it? Alright, so it's not going to bother me to have some of this tacky glue still stuck on there. You can see that little swoopy design right through here. It looks like a C. The next thing to do here is to see if it's a magnetized pan. And the glue itself is what's making it stick. Otherwise, it is not a magnetic pan. So I don't recommend using glue to stick this to a magnetic board, because otherwise if you need to shift things around, you're not going to be able to easily get it out. With this, I do want the glue gone. I don't want it to ruin my magnetic board. But what I think I might do instead of trying to mess with that is I'm just going to pull out my magnets here. If you ever buy a Z palette, you'll know that they come with these little magnetic stickers. That way you can just throw a magnet on the back of your product and now it is magnetic. Oops, except that didn't want to stay on. Ta-da! Alright, I have this other little magnetic palette that has some room in it. So I'm going to take these 3 remaining eyeshadows from Soap & Glory and I'm going to pop them in here because this is just a typical neutral palette. What I like about this one is it's from Itse, I think that's how you say it, Itse. And it's got this little plastic shield over the top so that it protects your mirror from the eyeshadows. So like with the blush, I'm just going to use my little spatula here and just lift that right out. And I'm going to do the same thing and just kind of pull some of this cardboard and glue off and use the alcohol method as well. And there we go. This is now fully empty. I can recycle this because it's all cardboard. That's one less bulky item in my collection. Now, one final thing that I would like to do on these is to label them so I don't forget what these are. So what I'll do is I'll just take these little stickers and I'll write on them where these came from. So these all have names. So there's Cream Soda, Copper, and Chalky from Soap & Glory. So I am going to write those down. These aren't the typical pan size. I am going to have to MacGyver this a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sticker and pop that on the back here, but then I'm going to trim along the edges because the sticker hangs out along the sides. Just like that. And ta-da! And I'm going to do the same with the blush here. Alright, moving forward, now we're going to depot this monstrosity. So this part is easy, because all I have to do is take the plastic insert out and I'm done with the box. Sometimes with bigger shadows like this, there's more glue, so you have to be more careful with how you work a spatula in there so you don't break the product. This one seems to be pretty loose from what I can tell. Sometimes you can't tell where the glue is at, so it's more helpful to go in and push from the bottom, except when something like that happens. So that little divot there. So you do have to be kind of careful when you depot, but be prepared that sometimes there's some casualties. Okay, this one I can tell I needed to be a little bit more careful because look how much glue there is, and this cracked right down the center. Kind of see those little cracks? I'm going to take alcohol and spray it over the top. Let that really get saturated and just kind of push everything back together with my fingers. This should be okay. It didn't look like it's coming out of the pan. I'm pretty certain that this one is not magnetic, so let me just test this out really quick. Nope, not magnetic. So I'm going to take that carefully and pop the magnet on the back, and then I'll label that. Now for number 2. Okay, don't do what I did. If you do end up doing something like this, you can take your alcohol and press it all back into place. There we go. That one is out with a little bit of a mess, but hey, it'll survive. This one definitely needs some cleaning up though. Now, same thing. Sometimes it helps helps if you use like paper or something as a barrier to press everything back in, so you're not having to smear this all over your hand and you barely get any product on anything else. Sometimes when glue is really thick, fry it up just ever so slightly and then spray some alcohol underneath and let that kind of come in, and it's going to help loosen up that glue a little bit. Yeah, you can see how much glue and stuff was on the bottom there. There we go. Finally. My goodness, this one was tough. Sadly, they don't all fit together in a Z palette. This is a bummer. This is not fitting. So I'm going to probably have to stick this one into this palette for now. I think maybe it'll fit. Let's see. Yes, that fits in here. Barely, but it does. Sometimes you just got to make things work. Now for these blushes. It's going to be the same process, so I'm going to skip ahead. I'm not going to film this part. It's basically the same thing, and then I'll put them in this palette if they fit. And ta-da! They're finally depotted and put in here. Here's the nasty packaging that I can toss away. Hallelujah! Here are the other products I need to depot. However, they're not going to fit in this palette, so I'm going to follow up when I have another Z palette to play with. I am back! Woohoo! Okay, I ended up going back to Ulta and picking up another Z palette because this just ran out of room. So this one's pretty much full. I can't fit anything else in here. Likewise with this, I can't fit any more product in there. So now I have a brand new Z palette. And so now I have these to go through. Not that. That's something my cat has been getting into. Alright, so there's some things in here that are pretty easy to depot, like these ones, for example. These all are in plastic sleeves. This one is not. This one is in cardboard, so this might be a little bit trickier to get out of the case, but I believe in it. I believe in the ability to do that. Same with this one. This one is probably going to be tricky to get out because it's a little bit deeper. Yeah, I might have to show you a little trick with this one. Now, here's where we get really fun and complicated. Here is a really small compact with a small shadow inside. This one is all plastic, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get this out very easily, so I'm going to show you a couple things that I'm going to try to get this out with, or a technique for that. Same with this. And another balm product here. And then these ones, I'll show you how I depot those and put them in something easier to work with. Okay, let's do the easy stuff first. Basically what I'm going to be doing is taking these out and making sure they have labels on them and magnets, because none of these have magnets on them. So let's get to it. So those are the easy ones all put away. Now I can recycle these cases. Woohoo! Alright, now for the trickier parts. Let's go ahead and look at this. This compact here is all plastic. So what I'm going to try to do is see if I can separate this component. So you see here, there is this line, this ridge that goes around here. I'm going to see if that separates out. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So to do that, I'm going to take some tweezers and see if I can kind of separate that from the base here. And it looks like that's not going to work. It does look like there's a tiny separation between the pan and the plastic. I'm going to see if I can separate this out with my spatula. I don't think so, but I'm going to try. Nope. Okay, I did get it underneath, but it is breaking a little bit. So So let's see. Okay, I did get it. Now the thing is with this, I did break it a little bit. So what I'm going to have to do is kind of bend this back into place as softly and as gently as I can. I'm going to use the spatula here, and I'm going to just kind of use this and kind of crimp it back down if I can. That's as good as that's going to get. It's not going to be perfect. You can tell I kind of ruined the shape here because it's a little bit flat on the top, but it's all good. I'm going to spray this down with a bit of alcohol and let this get really wet so that way it stays together and doesn't break. Press it down. There we go. Since there's glue stuck on the back, I'm going to clean this up with some alcohol. Try to get some of that glue off of here. Let that air dry for a second. Now the round one is too big, so I'm going to have to use the small one here. Ta-da! Now let's go in with this one. This one looks like it has quite a bit of a lip between the pan and the plastic here. So I think I might be able to just scoop that out with my spatula. And it looks like I'm right. This one's stuck in pretty good. So, whoops. Oh wow, that has foam in there. No wonder why. Look at that. So let's see if I can soften this up and get it off. Alright, that's as good as that's gonna come with getting all that off. Yuck. Magnet time. Hopefully I don't lose my eyesight. Otherwise I'll never be able to read this. Ready to put this away too. Yay! This one's going to be interesting because this has the plastic back. I'm putting my thumbs on the back and I'm pushing to see if this will just release on its own. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. My spatula is too thick to fit in between the metal pan and the plastic. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get through the back and push it through the back. So one of the ways I like to do that is to poke a hole and see if I can, if this is thin enough. I have this little extractor tool. I know it's kind of gross, but it works. This is for like whitehead extractions and such. So I'm going to use this to kind of push through the base, and I hear it cracking. That glue is cracking on the bottom. So let's see if I can continue doing this. Now I'm going to take my spatula, push that underneath, and there we go. There is a large piece of cardboard stuck on here. So I'm going to take my little spatula and wiggle it underneath and pry it off. There we go. And peel it off. Oh, handy dandy alcohol to dissolve everything. And voila. Last are these two. I think these are going to be easier. These are both from the Balm. This one's a little bit smaller. What I'm going to do, however, is I'm going to deconstruct this cardboard packaging. So this is pretty thick. I'm not going to be able to like jab this through it. It's too thick. And the space between the pan and the cardboard here is much too thin for my spatula. So I'm just going to keep shedding layers on this cardboard until I can see the back of the pan. Now you can see it. And ta-da! So just like before, some alcohol, a little spatula to scrape off the glue. This one's itty bitty. I think these are just a tad bit too big, but that's okay. Alright, the last one is the Mary Luminizer, also from the Balm, similar packaging, this time a larger pan, so this will be a little bit easier. But like before, I'm just going to peel away the packaging until I get to the underside of this pan. Alrighty, that part is finished. Woohoo! Yay! Alright, the final piece is to depot these ginormous things because I'm never going to get through all this pigment. I'm just going to put them into these smaller little pots. These have sifters on them, so I'm going to lift the sifters out. So to do this and make it less messy, I do have a little funnel here that I purchased for cosmetics just like this. However, if you don't have something like this, you can use a really tiny spoon or something of that nature. For this particular product, I am going to lift the sifter out, just like so. Give it a good tapping. And then I'm going to just use my spatula to spoon some of this product into the funnel. And this is what it will look like when it's done. It will be compacted in there and the sifter holds everything in place, and ta-da, we're done. However, there's a lot of product left over, so I think what I might do is press this into a pan of sorts. I don't have one available, but I do think I can find something that will work. So I'll show you that in another video or something. I'm going to do the same with this one. Now in these I'll put labels as well, but no magnets necessary because they will not fit into a magnetic pan. Alright, I wanted to quickly show you my drawer of highlighters and goodies. So these are the dip-potted highlighters, contour powders, and such. They don't quite fit this way as much as I would, actually they do, just kidding. So these palettes fit right there, and these fit right here. If I need to grab something in the back here, it's just within reaching distance, so it's barely back here, but I can still see what I have and pull things out as I need them. I can reach for these palettes more easily now that I see them here, which makes me really happy, because then it's just easy for me to do this to grab what I'm looking for. All my highlighters, all my bronzers and powders, face powders, things like that. Contour products, actually that can go back there. And then I've got all my cream highlighters and things like that here in the front, along with cream blushes and things that don't quite fit in the powder blush area. So this just feels so much more organized. It makes me happy. I do want to quickly show you my foundation and primer and face product drawer because I am very proud of this. Sadly, this drawer actually broke through on the bottom because there's so much foundation in here and it didn't fit. So I ended up going through all my foundations and trying them all on and seeing what fit me color-wise, what didn't, and I purged everything out of here that just doesn't work with my skin tone. I feel confident now reaching into this drawer and grabbing a foundation and knowing that it's going to work for my skin tone and coloring. So now I feel really great about it. Then here are like deluxe mini samples and things like that that I've yet to try. And then I've got a lot of my primers here. I didn't realize I had that many when I was going through. These are illuminating kind of primers, like MAC Strobe Cream, this Dr. Brandt Luminizer Primer, Camelina and Strobe Luminizing Powder, or Primer, excuse me. The NYX one, the Benefit stuff that I like, Juice Beauty, so on and so forth. So all of that's here, my powder, my concealer, all in one large place for me to see them. And then I've got all my loose powders and regular setting powders over here. So it's just easy to access. I feel good about being able to reach in, grab something, knowing that it's going to work. I also have this Studio Face and Body Foundation in white, which I can use to mix with other stuff. So I might do a video in the near future talking about using different colors to create your custom shade when you don't have the right foundation color to work with. So I'll go into that in another video. I hope this video was helpful for you if you're trying to organize your makeup and condense it into easier to access and easier to store, easier to travel with, packaging, containers, etc. My cat is playing in the blinds, don't mind her. I'm so excited to have some of this clutter out of my drawers because, oh my gosh, as I was saying before, when there's no joy in doing my makeup, there's something wrong. And there definitely was something wrong with my organizational system, so yay! I can function again and not, you know, have to like go crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've made it this far, leave me a little red bow emoji because I think that would be kind of cute because it's like a little present, you know? Alrighty, have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay legit as always. Mwah! Bye!